let's run it, fuck it. This is what introduced me to Twitch, watching Siglimic run this game. God, it was such a good summer watching him chase down the, I don't think it was the 16-star record. He was going for the, what was it? It was like the hour 40. I think he was trying to breach hour 44 or something back then.
Super Mario 64,
So I think he was
16-star. It's the most
pretty sure that
popular
was it.
category and the most popular speed
Yeah,
game
was it
of
120?
all time. Holding a record in it is one of gaming's toughest
Oh, of course I've
accomplishments.
seen that one, Pluto. That's a classic.
Ridiculous glitches and insane movement. Both requirements for a world record.
There's the Prime Tria and a
Just the
Poitep
lucky
and Tier
few
1
have been able to
Benadryl.
call themselves a record holder. And with the incredible level of competition, it's hard to hold on to it for long. But let's take a look at those gamers and see how they did it. This is the history of the 16-star world record.
I get so nostalgic thinking about Super Mario 64 speedruns. Real quick, I want to see, does Siglimic, is he still active on anything at all anymore? Because last I heard from Siglimic was, I believe, back in 2014. Siglimic is one of the OGs. He is responsible for a lot of Twitch's blow up. Because I remember when he got the world record, he streamed it, like one of the first times he got a really good 120 run. It was streamed on Twitch, and there were articles written about it explaining what Twitch was, and that was big. It was on the front page of R Gaming and everything. I really can't find anything about Siglimic though. No one's even like talking about him. Yep, I don't see anything. He just vanished from the internet.
Super Mario 64 has 120 stars you can collect. There are speedrun categories that involve collecting all of them. However, the developers only required you to collect 70 of them to beat the game. That's how many you needed to make it up the endless staircase and into the final stage. For years, 70 stars was the minimum needed to beat Super Mario 64. But years after the game's release, that number suddenly dropped to 50.
I used to try and learn
Eventually,
this shit, it was so
lowered
hard.
again. In November 2004, he beat the game with 16 stars in 21 minutes and 56 seconds.
Oh, nice, Null.
And here's how he did it. The first goal in
That
a
sounds fun as
16-star
fuck, Pluto.
speedrun is to collect 8 stars, which unlocks the first Bowser level, Bowser in the Dark World. He
Was
got
this
the first
was this filmed in 2004? With this quality?
star by going
This looks better than most YouTube videos from 2010. What the fuck was this guy using? Like a Black Magic 4K back then, just aiming it at the TV? Shit looks incredible. This is crisp. They didn't even have capture cards in 2004. I believe the first capture card was a Dazzle, which I had in 2006.
going into Bob-omb Battlefield and ground pounding the Chain Chomp's pole 3 times, unlocking the star. He then quickly got the star on the ledge by side flipping to it, then opened the cannon, used it to blast
This seems
through the
pretty
wall, and
optimized.
shot himself into the star to collect it. A slow process that ate up around half a minute. Finally, he got picked up by the owl to fall into the cage and collect another star. That put his total at 6
pretty good.
stars. The remaining 2 came from sliding down Peach's slide to collect both stars, despite a bit of slow movement along the way. Illudude was then able to enter Bowser in the Dark World, where he used long jumps all over to move through the stage. It took 2 throws to hit Bowser with a bomb, but eventually he got the job done. Now that he could go into the basement, Illudude's next goal was to collect 7 more stars to allow Mips the rabbit.
I can't believe this was 17 years
The
ago.
first 2 stars came from shifting Sandland, where he got one from quickly jumping at the top of the pyramid, and the other from slowly waiting on top of a pillar for a bird to arrive. The next 2 came from Lethal Lava Land, where Illudude boiled the big bully and collected 8 red coins. His movement wasn't ideal in any of these sections, as his only real strategy for moving fast was to long jump whenever he could. Finally, the last 3 stars came from collecting the Toad Star, then heading into Hazy Maze Cave, getting the Emergency Exit Star, and the Watch for Rolling Rock Star. Now, Illudude had 15 stars, which spawned Mips the Rabbit. Normally, you can just grab him for a star, but Illudude was going to use him for a trick discovered by Dom Dunk a few months prior. This was the key to beating the game with 16 stars.
I don't know this strat. At least I don't really
The first
remember
step
it.
is getting Mips through this door. By putting him down right in front of it, Then going through the door, you can quickly jump back and stand inside the door. From there, you can pick up MIPS, turn around, and place them on the other side. Then you want to take MIPS to this door, which you normally need 30 stars to pass through. You can jump between MIPS and the door to get pushed through it, skipping the 30-star requirement. The MIPS clips could be difficult to perform, but if done properly, they would save many minutes off a Super Mario 64 speedrun. After this, Illudude went into Dire Docks, collected the submarine star to unlock Bowser in the Fire Sea, and went through it as fast as he could. Once again, it took him 2 throws to defeat Bowser, but he now had the second key. It was time to head upstairs, where he was about to perform probably the most iconic trick in Super Mario 64 speedrunning: the backwards long jump.
Whoa! Wait, even in 2004 they had
BLJ?
BLJ?
Popularized in a November 2000 edition
What?
of Nintendo Power magazine, but it's quite likely Nintendo knew about it as early as 1997, since that year they released an updated version of Super Mario 64 in Japan that made the trick impossible. When you do a long jump but hold the stick backwards, the game gives Mario a slight boost of speed. It normally snaps back to normal quickly after, but if you land fast enough, like on stairs, it's preserved so you can do another backwards long jump. By jumping over and over, it's possible to catch Mario in a loop where his speed continuously builds up. He can keep going faster and faster. If your speed builds fast enough, it's possible to be on one side of wall on one frame and the other side on the next. And that means if you mash correctly, you can backwards long jump and fly through doors.
Hey, 3 sub Lucky Squid.
This on both the 50-star door and the endless staircase, bypassing the requirements for 50 and 70 stars respectively. Then, it was a matter of making it through Bowser
2004 they had
hitting Bowser with
BLJ.
3 bombs at the end. It took him 6 throws, but it was enough to finish with a time of 21:50. This run was pretty good for 2004, given how new the MIPS clips and BLJs were. However, as noted before, the movement left much to be desired, and some tricks took several tries.
I hope you're doing well.
And about 6 months later, a player named Kirby Carter would lower it by about a minute.
Thanks to Prime Muse.
He definitely did clean up the movement a bit, but was still mostly using long jumps. He didn't miss as many throws on Bowser, and was able to get the BLJs extremely quickly. Early runs recorded on VHS with primitive strategies, followed by improvements in big chunks over the following years.
It is fucking crazy how smart they were back in 2004.
The 16-star history takes a bit of a
fucking
turn.
Geniuses.
First, cheated or faked runs would be illegitimately on top of the leaderboard for more than 80% of the next decade. For most games, cheated runs do occasionally happen, but rarely does it affect the record timeline as substantially as it did for 16.
It's not like they were different humans. Yeah, they're fucking Neanderthals.
The fastest runs from legitimate players will be included
Imagine
in this video
being
instead.
like
And
2004
second, although
an
most
adult.
runs had video proof when performed, records before 2013 have very little video surviving today, and some of the surviving stuff is very low quality.
Yeah, see, look at this. This is what I'm saying. Like, the quality from their 2004 recordings is so much better than, like, 2009 YouTube videos. VHS, man. Like, the little VHS recorders were nutty for their time. Yeah, that's also how Angry Video Game Nerd did it too, right? Wasn't it VHS recorder? Like, he would just record with a VHS tape? I was 10 in 2004, so I wasn't an adult yet, but I was old enough to process these kind of advanced maneuvers.
Is very low quality. Many runs were live streamed at the time, but the videos weren't saved. There were also many emulator records at this time, but since they reduce lag and aren't kept on the same leaderboard as console runs, they won't be included in. A player named LeCoureur103 would rapidly lower the record down to 1908 over the course of 2005. Through August 2009, 4 players set a record: Sho, Shigeru, Cass, and Taka. Most of these runs don't have surviving video, and the ones that do were live streamed with 2009 levels of quality.
What the fuck?
So instead,
that's what my old Justin
December
TV streams looked
2009,
like.
when we finally get a run with a clean video.
Unironically, that's what my old Justin TV streams looked like. That was the norm back then. Like, looking back at it now, I can't even tell what was going on. This was the frame rate. This was everything. And this was the fucking norm. Fucking crazy.
Remember, Kirby Carter had gotten a 20-minute run in 2005, and there were allegedly 19-minute runs later that year. What did Taka get in 2009? How about a run clocking in at 17 minutes, 18 seconds?
Wow.
To put it bluntly,
Awfully stinky.
this record was on another level. Everything about Taka's run was miles ahead of runs from years prior. Truth be told, there had been many new strategies slowly implemented in runs over the years. Kirby Carter's run from 2005 was good, but Taka had some tricks up his sleeve that changed everything. Trick number 1. In Bob-omb Battlefield, Taka performed the bomb clip. By activating the bomb and getting pushed by it toward the gate, you can precisely jump before it explodes.
Oh, that's fucking cool. I haven't seen that. I have never seen that version of the bomb
close
clip.
To 10 seconds over the standard method. Taka then went to Whomp's Fortress and performed trick number 2, a legendary one known as Cannonless.
Oh yeah, Cannonless is standard
the
now.
process for
Goddamn.
getting the blast away
This guy
the
was a
wall star
genius.
is slow, and involves opening the cannon, jumping in it, shooting at the wall, and landing to collect the star. By triple jumping and wall kicking off the cage perfectly,
That's another
you could fall in it
classic.
without having to use the owl. It only saved around 6 seconds, but Owlless became a staple of 16-star runs as well. Another big upgrade for Taka was his movement. Older runs had just used long jumps, but Taka carefully selected his moves to optimize the speed of each section. Diving was used all over for
Yeah, this guy's like a literal time traveler.
while long jumps still had their place for longer straight sections. This upgraded movement could particularly be seen in Bowser in the Dark World, where Taka varied his movement all over to collect 8 red coins for an additional star. The back half was clean too. Fast MIPS clips and BLJs helped save some additional time. However, the run definitely wasn't without its faults. He had some slip-ups,
Hey, 3-sub
like
Steven.
here in Lethal Lava Land, and he missed the throw on Bowser at the very end. But thanks to the upgrades in movement, strategies, and overall execution, Taka's run was more than 3 minutes faster than the early records. Super Mario 64 speedruns were about to enter a new era. Gone were the days of infrequent records with suboptimal strategies. Over the next year and a half, the record would be broken nearly a dozen times. Most of the videos for these records didn't survive, but the few we
It was
do have
2010.
show gameplay far ahead
How
of
did they
its
not
time.
survive?
The two dominant record holders for this era were Taka and Shigeru. They took turns lowering the record into the low 17s, before Shigeru broke the sub-17 barrier with a 1654. But when Taka took the record back with a 1652, he had a trick up his sleeve. LBLJ. LBLJ stands for Lobby Backwards Long Jump, and its origins can be traced to an October 2006 video, where Mr. Robert Z jumped up from below and grabbed an exposed ledge. He theorized that you could then possibly do a backwards long jump, and it turns out he was right. A tool-assisted runner named Mijitsu showed it off in a patch a month later, and it was eventually adopted by runners. By backwards long jumping into the basement ceiling, which extends upwards, you can land and repeatedly jump to build while optimizing his movement and tricks along the way. It was starting to feel inevitable that somebody would break the 16-minute barrier.
I don't recall, did Siglimic ever run 16-star? Or was he strictly 120?
But as it turns out, the first person to get a sub-16 wouldn't be Shigeru. It wouldn't be Taka either. In fact, it wasn't anyone who had set a 16-star record before. In August 2011, someone else broke through with a 1554.
That sounds like Siglimic.
And his name was Matt Turk.
Oh.
Nah, I'm just kidding. It was Akira. Akira's run was a culmination of strategies that had been slowly developed over the years. It started with LBLJ. He got it very cleanly, quickly rotating the camera to drop Mario in Bowser in the Dark World. After collecting 8 red coins in the key, he got Cannonless first try, Owlless, and the side flip star, making all 3 of these stars seem effortless. This seemed like it would be the last minute barrier ever broken in 16-star. There simply wasn't enough time to save to take it past 15 minutes. That being said, there was still some room to take it lower.
Yeah, get rid of fucking MIPs, you idiots! Fucking cavemen still using MIP clips.
Batora would grab the record for the first time with a 1552, losing a bit of time to bad movement early, but saving time at the end with a cleaner Bowser in the sky. Not to be outdone, Akira would beat him by a full 8 seconds in April 2013, and it helped lead to stretches like this, where no world records were set for many months. If someone could just figure out a way to set it up consistently,
yeah, was it Sockfolder?
Grab the star every time,
Sockfolder came up with the setup, right?
So many new doors in 16-star. And in October 2014, that's exactly what Sockfolder did.
Thought so.
Sockfolder is a speedrunning legend. He's found revolutionary setups for tricks in Ocarina of Time, Luigi's Mansion, even the original Super Mario Bros. Once he sets his mind figuring something out, he's usually able to do so. Since without having to reset as much early, players could focus on optimizing the rest of the run. So, throughout 2015, a handful of runners were gunning for the record. And what resulted was a mad dash to push the record down as much as possible.
I didn't realize how recent a lot of this stuff was. Well, I guess 2015 is 6 years ago now. Send an email to the support oatmeal. Most people have gotten everything, like, a lot of people have been getting it today and yesterday. But send an email to the support and they'll just pull it up for you and tell you where. What happened to Shigeru and Taka? Probably just got tired of it.
They were decent, but not good enough for a record. Aki would finish with a 15:28, 4 seconds behind Zaya. But a few months later, he'd have another shot at it. 4 seconds ahead of his last run, he once again needed good BLJs.
And he fucked it again.
It was good enough. A 15:22, beating Zaya by 2 seconds and making Aki the new record holder.
Woo!
But a few days later, it was Ouija's turn.
This was 2018? He did it!
I did it! I did it!
This was the first ever sub 1520 in 16-star history. One new trick he and Aki were using was in Womp's Fortress, where he used a new setup for Cannonless called Texture Setup that had been theorized years prior by Snowman. Instead of using Sockfolder's long setup, Ouija just lined up Mario's feet with a texture in the side of the plank and went for it.
Okay.
It wasn't as consistent as the normal setup, but it
sounds
was
unreliable.
faster and still more consistent than no setup at all. Compromises like this had to be made now that the remaining time saves were disappearing. He gained some time over Aki with a cleaner lethal lava land, but lost some in Bowser in the Fire Sea. His BLJs were excellent, but he had a slight mistake at the end of Bowser in the Sky. Although the run had some downfalls, it was still a record by 5 seconds. Not to be outdone, Aki would fire back 6 months later with a 15-16. He messed up the triple jump in Hazy Maze Cave, and his Fire Sea had a slow end. He also threw Bowser a bit faster each time, saving a fraction of a second per throw.
Nice.
At this point, when the record was lowered,
Jesus.
it was typically only by a second or maybe a few seconds at most. When records get as precise as 16 star, where players have done tens of thousands of runs each, taking time off in big chunks was pretty much out of the question. But incredibly, just 3 weeks after his 15-16, Aki was in position to do just that.
With a 40-second run.
As always, it came down to the BLJs. No pressure.
And he fucking blew a dick on it again, huh? Oh!
This was it. An unbelievable chance to make history.
He
Just
chokes?
had to make it through Bowser in the Sky, hit all 3 of the throws, and he'd be golden.
Ah! Ah! The game crashed.
おいマジかよこれマジで俺やったぞやったーこれやべえうわー
Damn.
これやべえぞ
As good as Aki was, it would help to change his approach if he wanted to take the record under 1508. So, as 2019 came around, he looked into what else he could do to save time. First, there was Cannonless. Texture setup was great, but it lost a few seconds over just running at the wall and praying. So, Aki decided that he needed to give up the consistency of the setup and go back to normal Cannonless.
Oh my
The
god.
same awful, brutal trick that killed 2/3 of all runs years prior. This was obviously a really tough move, but the run was getting so optimized that it was worth it. Second, Aki went for a faster setup for Pillarless. Developed by Tama, you would do the jump dive on the hill instead of going over the top. This enabled you to get hands-free quicker, and allow the trick to begin sooner than before. With these setups in mind, Aki kept doing attempts. On May 10th, the new time saves helped him be 6 seconds ahead of the record early. He would bleed some of this time in Fire Sea, but good BLJs kept him well ahead. 3 Bowser throws later, Aki had done it again.
5秒切ったぞ世界じゃあ次14いくぞ
Just barely missed sub 15.
This record put Aki 12 seconds ahead of anyone else on the leaderboard. And he didn't stop there. He kept doing attempts for a lower record. He even had paces multiple seconds ahead of the 1504. But every time, something would kill it. But in late 2019, Aki would finally get some competition at the top of the leaderboard. And this particular runner certainly had credentials. He was
the most feared name in
and
gaming.
1-star record holder. He was one of the best in the world at optimizing fast movement. And his name was Dowski.
Thanks to resub Apothic.
Dowski had previously held the 16-star record before, getting a 15-16 the day before Aki got his incredible 15-08. He had a 4-second lead over the record. This actually had sub-15 potential. But as always, the BLJs stood in the way.
Whoa!
They weren't great, but his best possible time was still 1 second ahead of the record. If he could tear through the stage, he'd have a chance.
It's looking pretty good. What? Is it good enough? I already forgot.
Turns out, it would be record by just over a tenth of a second.
Nice.
For the first time in a year, Aki was no longer the record holder. With so many times being set in short succession, 16 star as a category was flourishing. There was really only one problem. At this point, it had been almost 2 years since someone with a funny username had set a record. In recent months there had been Aki and Dowski, but to get a good one, you have to go back to Ouija and his 1517, and even that one's not amazing compared to the likes of 420 Blaze It and Shivering Erotic King Banana.
Damn, that guy sounds nuts.
Well, in early 2020,
I like that guy.
Someone wanted to rectify that. He started moving up on the leaderboards, going from 5th to 3rd place.
Was it Gushing
right behind
Grannies?
the 2 1504s. And shortly thereafter, he would end up taking the top spot. And the runner's name certainly didn't disappoint. On February 27th, a 1503 was achieved by Slippery Nip.
Whoa! Good man.
He gained time early thanks to a faster LBLJ, and managed to match Dowski's speed in making the Tsukishima cycle on the platforms, including an incredible triple jump dive onto the platform. 3 throws later, Aki was so close to a sub 15.
Oh, that's heartbreaking. And he almost had a heart attack. 175 BPM. Jesus.
1 more second to go. Aki pushed onward over the coming days and weeks, getting great runs on pace that eventually died to something. The biggest culprit, of
Exit
course,
Prime operator.
were the BLJs. Getting Mario to catch on the stairs seemed almost random at times. If you didn't get him to catch within a few jumps, it was run over, and even making it through would usually result in losing time.
Makes you some plump and
But
dumpy.
Aki knew sub 15 was within reach. He just needed one good run past the BLJs. And on May 10th, 2020, Aki had this run.
Oh,
It was
God.
about as close to a perfect run as you could get. Chances like this don't come along very often. Now,
Exit Prime
more
Marbles.
than ever, the BLJs needed to happen.
And
They didn't
Nintendo
need to be
patched
very
it out
good.
during the run just to
He
fuck
just
him.
needed something decent. Or he could get near perfect BLJs.
Wow.
This was his chance for the run of a lifetime. Here we go.
Oh, even got the optimal cycle. Oh, that was scary. I bet his sphincter loosened up there real rough. Oh, that's scary. Oh my god. Just barely. There's the use of Alex OG in the bits. Davari, Toxic Shark,
By
and
the skin
CC.
of his teeth, Aki had pulled out a 1459, the world's first sub 15. Obviously, as good as it was, this run still had some room for improvement. He lost 6 seconds on the last split for mistakes in Bowser in the Sky. But still, that was it for big time losses. It was an incredible run up until then, and it was daunting to try and beat. See this guy down here? This is Kano. He
Holy
knew he'd have
fuck.
to do some work given how far he was from the record, but Kano didn't care. He wanted to be the record holder. So, he got to work. Life went on, and Kano kept streaming 16-star.
Oh my god!
His time was down to 1513.
Is he sub max?
By April, it was 1507. His stream kept going. He was improving his skills and getting close to
How many
a record.
subs does he have? Is that his subs down there? 1788?
By May, he was starting to get
He's
really
a tier 1
close,
Trip in the
entering
Prime
the
Rat
top
and
3
Sam.
with a 1503. All the while, the length of the stream climbed higher and higher, going past 1,000 and then past 2,000 hours, until finally, on June 12th, 2021, Kano had this run. He actually gained some time early thanks to a new strategy in shifting Sandland by CircleMark994, but lost a bit on MIPS from slower setups for the clips. After a clean stage, 3 throws separated him from a record.
3,066 hours. And he just missed it? Or did he get it? They're not showing, he just missed it. Nope, by his reaction he got it.
Yes!
Holy shit.
Oh my god!
More than 3,000 hours of
Oh
streaming
my god.
finally put behind him. Kano went from 6th to 1st, a 1517 to a 1458. An unbelievable push that paid off in the end. And Kano could finally hit the end stream button.
But decided
As the
not
summer
to.
of 2021 went on, a few people were going for a sub 1450.
I know, apparently he's live
One of
right
the most
now. Is it
notable
still the
players
same
was
stream?
Ouija. He had set a record 3 years prior with a 1517, but hadn't been able to
Is he
replicate
tier
it.
1 Picasso's nut?
Still, he was considered a top runner. For years, he would continue lowering his personal best, staying within seconds of the record at all times. However, he never was able to take that top spot again, despite coming close on several occasions. At least until July 4th, 2021. After 39 months, thousands of attempts, and numerous personal bests in the top 5, Ouija had finally done it again. He had beaten all the rest, and had taken back the world record.
I didn't get it.
Oh my fucking god.
No, I didn't get it.
Oh my god!
Oh no fucking
When
way.
Ouija stopped to scroll through the text boxes, Mario was facing away from the star. All he had to do was turn around and jump into the star, but he accidentally jumped forward and lost about a second. It cost him the record. To this
That
day,
was heartbreaking.
he's still trying to get it back. But that's not the last run to talk about, because in August 2021,
No fucking way.
a runner would come back to snag one final record.
T-Pain. It's his first attempt. He just looked at one run, emulated it, and got world record.
So, who was the runner? Well,
Slippery
it
nip,
wasn't
I'm
Ouija,
calling it.
It wasn't Aki, Dowski, or Kano. There's only one username it could have been.
Woo! We did it! Oh! And the 50 gift subs. Thank you, Sam. Really appreciate it, Sam. Thank you.
Alright, cool. Sweet.
Appreciate the generosity. Pretty modest
If you
reaction.
enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate if you subscribe to the
Just
channel.
sweet.
It really helps me out. And check out the pinned comment for links to people who helped with research
Fuck.
and the runners in the video.
That was so good. Summoning Salt is so fucking good. Oh, it's always so fucking interesting. Also, I love that Kano did 124 days. He probably just said that one time drunk. He's like, you know what? I'm just gonna stream till I get the record. And he's like, might as well, fuck it. Let it ride. That's so fucking cool. What a great video. I need to take a shit really badly, so I'm gonna go shit real quick. I'll be back in just a minute.